You're watching the VHS Files. My name is Josh. With me, as always, are Eric and Jason. And tonight, we're counting down our top 4 parties in film.
Oh, let's get this party started.
Let's get this party started.
This is like the best party I've ever been. Oh, I know.
It looked like the greatest party I have ever seen.
What time is your party tonight, man?
9:30. Party time.
Some party's so fucking hard.
Great party, isn't it?
Whoa! The cops! Now this is what I call a party.
Possibly the most epic high school party of all time.
It was the most epic party of all time.
Parties.
Party!
I never do this.
You're right
I
on
never,
there.
ever do this. You know, when I go to the party, you know what I like?
Oh, the hipster party?
Oh, let's not get into this right off the bat, guys. Let's save this for later in the episode. All
Let's
right.
do it now.
House parties, dinner parties, frat parties, going away parties, birthday parties, keg parties, Halloween parties. God damn, there are parties in movies, wouldn't you say?
Just a little bit. A little bit.
A lot of parties. That's true, yeah. Although I will say, this was kind of hard for me. It was not like an immediate thing where I'm just thinking of a ton of parties, but
I really just kind of honed in on the first movies that popped into my head that have
what I
parties and shit that those are the movies that I think about when I think about a party in a movie. So, and then only after I picked a handful of things that I liked, then I went on the internet and was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. So it'd be interesting to see what you guys came up with. I thought this was going to be one that would be a little weird for us, but I'm anxious to see what you guys picked.
Yeah, I mean...
yeah, same. I did about the same thing as you, Josh, and I'm definitely curious to see where your minds went
In the gutter.
first. And
In the gutter.
probably.
Oh, one's in the gutter. When Josh come up with this idea with the whole party thing, I mean, I'm like, top 4 parties, and I'm like, what the... But then it was all of a sudden... They just started rolling into my head. It's kind of like it took a minute for it to download, because I'm old.
Yeah.
And
You
but
are.
most of these were based off nostalgia. I'm pretty sure I shouldn't get an argument of what's on my list of what is clarified as a party. So I made sure Eric.
I was hoping we would have someone challenge the boundaries of what a party is, but we'll see how it goes.
It's usually Eric he would be the party police of telling us what is classified as a party.
The fun police.
The fun police, as he tells. No, that's not a gun. Which we've had this argument before in our other top 4s.
Well, we've been watching movies with parties in them for as long as our lives long are. So, I mean, there's plenty to choose from here, but I wanted to make sure that this was specific to us individual. So, I just kind of chose from the heart instead of thinking, what's the coolest party that could ever be in a movie? So yeah, these are all just genuine nostalgia, straight from the heart for me. So, but in movies, parties tend to be very embellished and spruced up for cinematic purposes and whatnot. And that was a big thing growing up, is you see these parties in movies, and then you go to parties in real life, and you never go to a party like they are in the movies. And
Where everyone's just jamming out in the living room.
Right. It's like no
Dancing.
party I've ever been to looks like a movie party in most cases.
I mean, at first, when I think party, I think the parties of high school and college movies from the 80s, 70s and 80s. Right. That's the very first place my mind goes to is these rager parties in some high school movie, dirty comedy, R-rated comedy kind of thing. That's where it starts. And then it starts to dribble down into oh yeah, that was a party. That's a party,
Yeah.
There's definitely, I think when I was digging through some of these, like you said, you never went to a party. There was definitely a movie that had a party in it that was like me growing up here in backwoods Texas. And I actually put it on my list somewhere. So, but
That's awesome.
But and no, we used to have some kind of crazy parties at our buddy Kern's house back in the day, and that was some party movie material. People end up with usually keg stands, running around in their boxers, craziness.
I wanted to ask you guys, like, do you guys have like a crazy party experience, like something that you think could possibly be something that would have been in a movie, or have your party experiences all been fairly light?
I've been to a number of parties, some I don't remember. I have woke up in the middle of somebody's front yard with the dew of the grass sticking to the side of my face in high school. So those mini keg stands and nothing super crazy, like nothing I think would actually make a movie. So what about you, Eric?
Nothing too crazy. Went to some big parties, in college and those days. High school, we used to have bonfire parties at my friend's house who had some land. Those were really like the best times. Like not a dance party or a rave or anything like that. It was everyone sitting around a big fire, hanging out, having a good time, listening to music. Those were the really good parties for me. That's my kind of party,
And interestingly enough, Eric and I met at a party. Eric, do you remember this?
That's funny you say that because like I'm thinking of was it Rachel's wedding and stuff like that, but that's not what you're talking about, is it?
No, we actually met at a party. Eric's ex-wife and my wife were really good friends in high school. So we met through Eric's ex-wife. And you guys were at a party, I think, for something that your school or something. I don't know. It was in Panama City, but you were there. You had just started dating Jessica. And we met you there. And we didn't really interact very much, but that's where we first met, was whenever we met at a party.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. I forgot about that.
But then after that, it was just Rachel's wedding, and then it was a few years after that before we connected again, I think. But
you randomly came to fix my windshield.
Yeah.
That's how we reconnected. We lost touch entirely, and as fate would have it, a pebble gets kicked up into my windshield, and next thing I know, guess who's on my doorstep to fix my windshield? Freaking Josh. And then the rest is history. Now we're amazing friends, and I know.
I'm sure. I mean, there's been plenty of parties I've been to that have some tales. I mean, I could probably stretch 2 podcasts into 2 different parties that I had some crazy experiences with. Nothing. I don't know if it would ever be something that would be film worthy, but there was one pretty crazy party night that I had where some people had taken some substances, and 36 hours later, I still hadn't fallen asleep. So that was a rough night.
Was that the Ambien party?
No.
Ambien party.
That's a different one.
That's my kind of party. That sounds.
I'm like the recluse of our group, and I think I've done some more crazier shit at parties than you guys have.
Oh, you probably have. I never dabbled much in any kind of chemicals of any sort except alcohol for many years.
Yeah, and the other one that I'll mention briefly was a bonfire party that we had, and I was like, I'll go be the designated driver. The next morning, I woke up puking my brains out with a bottle of Captain Morgan's around my arm.
Whoa!
Oh no!
I've heard this story.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't even smell Captain Morgan's anymore. So that's how bad that night was. It will make me gag. But that's enough for our life parties. Let's start talking about our favorite parties in movies. And we're going to start with number 4, go around and give our number 4, all the way down to our number 1. So, Jason, why don't you start us off? I'm anxious to hear your picks more than anybody's, honestly. So
really,
yeah.
Wow, Eric, he just shut you down. You're like, I don't fucking care
more
about
than
Eric.
anybody's. Like there's more than just 2 of us. Like more than anybody. Like just say more than Eric.
Fuck you, Eric.
Anyway, go ahead.
I feel the love tonight. Yeah. Okay.
That's fine.
All right, here we go. Number 4 for Jason. Going to 1985. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. the pool party in the backyard. The main reason I went with that, like I said, it's a nostalgia thing. We get a cool, there's a cool, like, I guess they're in high school party going on. Jesse, our guy that's got Freddy inside of him. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Well, we are talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and there are some stories of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So, yeah.
This sounds like a party.
Yeah, it is a party. I got this dead guy inside of me coming out of my chest, But it's just, you get, everything starts kicking off. Jesse's talking to his girlfriend. Freddy's coming out, like that. The pool is boiling. People are boiling. There are fires in the backyard. It's like a total heavy metal Slayer concert going on in the backyard. The bushes are on fire, and Freddy comes busting through the pool deck out of nowhere. He's actually in the real world now. Because he can do that through Jesse's character. Killing people. Great little kill scenes. You get the nice gut shots with the glove, and then that whole thing where he got this fire shooting out of the propane grill, and he got his arm, and he's like, "You are all my children now." Dude, that is one of the best lines in horror movies. And that shot of the fire behind Freddy, dude, that's a party in a horror movie, dude. That's great. I mean, I sometimes will just go through that movie and I can't wait to get to that part because it's just the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, but dude, that's a great party scene.
There's a lot of hate for that movie as far as the Nightmare on Elm Street series goes. It's definitely not the worst of the Elm Street movies.
Not by far.
But I mean, it's like a LGBTQ sort of movie now as well. Just, being that the star was famously gay, he was on Scream Queens, or no, there was that documentary they made about him called Scream Queen from that movie. So
Mark Patton, met the guy, great guy.
But yeah, I was really curious because no horror movies really instantly popped into my head for parties.
Oh, dude,
so
really?
I was like, I was waiting to hear what Jason's horror movie parties were going to be because I knew he'd come through with that.
I got some in honorable mentions too, so
all right,
we'll get there. But
Eric,
that's my number 4. Go ahead, Eric.
Let's see here. I'm going to go with Billy Madison's third grade party.
Rock on! Yes!
From Billy Madison.
Ever.
Yeah,
just basically a man-child, anything a kid would want at a party. You've got a band, like an 80s hair band. You've got bounce houses, fire-breathing guys on stilts, snow cones, hot dogs, you name it. You can hose down a kid if you want and just keep hosing them down. It's great.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
And that speaks to me. This talking about going from the heart, like when you said parties, is so funny. Like this was one of the first movies that popped into my head over like, college frat rager parties and shit like that. Like it's slip and slides and hot dogs. I don't know, dude. It's just, I guess that says something about me, but I'm a big kid. That's kind of true. And yeah, that's what I thought of. Just a all the type party into Google, look at party in the yellow pages. This is the shit you'll get. Bounce houses, clowns, sprinklers, snow cones, hot dogs.
Well, what I have to say and what I have to comment on is if our list says anything about who we are as people, goddamn, I went crazy. If we're talking about the first thing that was just like from the heart popped into our heads, I got some debaucherous shit here, bro.
I go from, burned maniac killing people to him with man-child. So let's see what Eric or Josh has for his number 4.
And it might shock you to know this, but I'm going with a 2022 film.
Whoa.
This is a movie that I saw for the first time probably a month ago by Damien Chazelle. I'm going with Babylon. from 2022.
I've not seen Babylon.
I've not seen that.
I was reserved on watching Babylon because it's a long movie. I mean, we've talked about on our show how we are with long movies. Like, I got to dedicate some time to this bad boy to get through it. But I love Damien Chazelle. I've talked nothing but great things about La La Land and his other movies, and I have a small problem with Whiplash, but we won't get into that again. But I've since watched The First Man with another one with Ryan Gosling about Buzz Aldrin, and that movie was really good. I would put it kind of close to Interstellar as far as like space movies go. So I really enjoyed the hell out of it. And but with Damien Chazelle, like you can tell he has style, and the style, you can see what his influences are and whatnot. And his movies have been, I don't want to say tame, because Whiplash deals with some pretty crazy shit, but I don't know. I guess his films have felt safe to me, just kind of safe movies. But when I started watching Babylon, this movie starts with a party scene that is one of the most debaucherous parties I've ever seen. This movie takes place in 1926, I think. It's about the old school film industry when actors were bigger and larger than life. And it's about this movie exec having a party at his house. And there is so much stuff that happens in this party. You could watch this movie 10 times and not see all the stuff that's going on in the background. So debaucherous that I can't even show clips from it. There's like no scene without nudity or something terrible going on, which was shocking from a Damien Chazelle movie for me, because like I said, his movies have felt kind of safe to me. But you can tell he definitely went for a different a different tone with this one for sure. But in the end, and it's a hard movie to swallow on a first watch, honestly, but by the time the movie ends, I loved it. It's just, you don't really want to rewatch a 3.5 hour movie all that often. But it left an impression, and that opening party in Babylon was enough to make me think of it right off the top of my head when we started talking about parties. So I would say, if you want to see a 1926 party that will blow your mind, check out Babylon.
Hell yeah.
So Josh said of the first off this, so horror, man-child, porn. That's how we operate here.
I would say horror, comedy, drama.
No, he said debaucherous. We're going with porn. We're going Skinamax at minimum.
Okay.
So, all right, what we got? Good one, Josh. I need to watch it. So
it's like I said, it's long. It's kind of weird to watch on a first watch, but it's a movie that I ended up loving by the end of it. So, but let's hear what your next horror movie is, Jason.
How did you know it was going to be a horror movie?
I know you, man.
They're not all. They are not all. Well, that's what I said. The whole thing with the whole honorable mentions, I had a lot of them, but like I said, you got to go with the ones that hit you, But my number 3, all right, Josh, I'll just tell you the year, 1996.
Not ringing a bell for me.
I have a theory, but let's hear it.
Go ahead, Eric. You tell me. What is it?
I don't want to. You go.
Scream Part 1.
That was it. That was it.
Scream Part 1.
Oh, I was too afraid. Yeah.
No, dude. Go with your gut, man.
I should have, man. I go with my gut all the time in these games and get it wrong, so I don't trust my gut at all.
Well, I was kind of. I told Josh the year, Mr. Movie Man over here. I figured he would know what it was right off the bat.
I picked up on the Scream year. I don't know. I was questioning whether it counted as a party, if there were enough people to call it a party.
Dude, the party Josh, at Stu's house. The whole high school's there. And it's the party going on in Stu's house leading up to the finale. But the whole thing with...
I don't know if the whole high school's there.
Well, the majority of them is there.
It's a party. It's a party. I'm not...
It's a party.
In my brain, for in that brief moment, I was like, I just remembered the living room with people watching the movie, and there weren't that many people there.
Yeah, there's quite a few in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But either way, we get to another, like, the iconic things and things. The whole thing with Freddy that I said in my number 4. We get right here. The whole thing with Stu and his little house going on, all the murders that happened in there, the kill scene with his girlfriend Tatum with the garage Rose McGowan back in the day, super fine. Gotta love that whole scene too. But the thing with Randy in the living room with all them, they're watching Halloween on TV, and we get the infamous rules of a horror movie that stick with you. You know, the whole party thing. Yeah. He's going, you know, you can't have sex, you can't do drugs, and the never say I'll be right back. And then of course Stu goes, I'll be right back. And everybody says that nowadays because of that whole
for sure
right there.
That's a great one. I will say though, it's funny that Jason found a way to work Halloween into this, even though there weren't any parties in Halloween.
I will say,
still found a way to get it in.
I will say the Crow did not make it into my ass before. I was waiting for you guys to say, is the Crow in here? I don't remember any damn parties except for the party going on downstairs when they're all upstairs with the band playing. I don't know if they can get there.
That's not a party. That's a club scene, my friend.
But either way, it did. Crow did not. But yeah, dude, Scream, that whole thing, even all the way down to the end with the kill scene with Billy and all them, dude, it was just a great, from beginning of party to the end shot. So like I said, it stuck with me when it took me a while to think of these movies, and they started rolling in. For me, most are horror movies, but I think the other two might be a little shocker for you guys when we get to the top of the list.
Shocker!
Yeah.
All right, well, Eric, why don't you shock me with your number 3?
Whoa.
It might shock you. It might shock you. I thought I was going to have the most recent film on my list, but Josh beat me to it. I've got a movie from 2018. This movie, I have not seen Babylon, but I think this would definitely give it a run for its money as far as debauchery.
Oh, I'm interested.
This entire movie is a party. Any guesses? Climax.
Oh,
I've never seen
it.
By Gaspar Noé. This is the most fucked up party. The sangria gets spiked with LSD. Everyone loses their minds, and some truly horrible things happen. And basically the whole movie is a party for the most part. This is one that came to me right away as well, that I was like, there's just, it put it over the top that it's just the most extreme party I think I can think of, as far as like everything that happens is just completely bonkers, and it had to go on.
And you know, it genuinely did shock me, Eric, because I did not think you had ever seen Climax. I did not even think Climax was a movie that would have been on your radar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It came across the trailer. I had never heard of it, and I was like, that looks crazy, and watched it. It blew me away. It's pretty wild.
Gaspar Noé, who directed that film, I don't know, have you seen any of his other stuff?
Yes, I saw
his movie Irreversible is pretty notorious for having a pretty
I guess I haven't.
That movie's messed up.
Yeah, it's got a pretty notable bad rape scene in it, so it's hard to watch. His films are usually a tough watch. Like, they get super messed up. I just watched Enter the Void for the first time, which is
that
a movie
one I've heard about as well.
It's a movie about a guy who dies and sort of like watches everything in his life that happens around him after he's dead. And it's freaking crazy. Yeah, Gaspar Noé and like Lars von Trier, like those are the two filmmakers. Like, you know, when people get into weird shit, they usually get into like David Lynch and David Cronenberg. Like, you can go further down that rabbit hole with people like Lars von Trier and Gaspar Noé, and they've got some pretty fucking bonkers movies, man. And oh, God, I can't believe you've seen Climax.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing other stuff. I thought I had seen at least one other film by him, but I guess I hadn't. So, but yeah, Climax was really cool, really creative, just very different. You know, just feels different. You know, very kinetic direction, and just a freaking crazy thrill ride.
Yeah.
So
I love how it kind of
good one.
starts. It starts as sort of a documentary and evolves into what it evolves into. It's pretty unique for sure. It reminds me of sort of like Cloverfield-ish sort of thing. How you start not that we're talking about honorable mentions right now, but that's another one. Like that movie starts in a party, and then the movie unfolds from there. So, but cool, awesome number 3, man. I'm surprised you had that on there.
Thank you.
Well, now he's giving you credit. He said he didn't really care about what you had earlier, but
that's what you get.
You come back with a strong one there, Eric.
I honestly already forgot what the movie was. My number 3 is from 1984. Jason, any clues or any guesses?
84.
I'll give you the year, 1984, and it stars a big time star.
Kevin Bacon? No.
My number 3 is
Ghostbusters?
Bachelor Party from 1984.
I haven't seen that in forever, dude. That's a long time ago watch. So.
Starring the A-list
Tom Hanks.
And yeah, like I think people would be surprised to know that this is one of the first movies Tom Hanks really got in there with. There's a lot of shit that happens in Bachelor Party that you would not be able to get away with today by any means.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies that I saw, again, we've discussed how bad the movies were when I saw them as kid. Like I saw Bachelor Party when I was a kid. And to me, like for a long time, that and another movie that I'll mention later were just like what I judged all parties by. I was like, if it's not Bachelor Party-esque party, it's not a party.
There you go, dude.
But yeah, it's so good. Tom Hanks is really good in it, and they kind of do play a line because they're talking about women as property in this movie. Like he literally offered. There's a guy in the movie that literally offers to trade his new Porsche if he dumps his girlfriend so he can date her. So like, it's just one of those movies. But Tom Hanks plays as the character that's like, oh my God, what should I do?
Yeah.
He's got a conscience about him. He goes through the whole party, doesn't sleep around on his wife or anything. I won't give everything of the movie away, but there's just so much shit that goes on in this hotel room in this movie that just made it one of those that's like instantly in my brain. Like this is a party. Bachelor Party it may not be PC for today's audiences, but I watched some of the clips from it yesterday and was chuckling my ass off. I think this movie's funny. Unfortunately, we can't make comedies like this anymore nowadays.
Nope.
I've never seen this, by the way. I just want to mention that. I've never seen Bachelor Party. I do love Tom Hanks. I love early Tom Hanks. So maybe I got to check this one out.
I mean, he had great comedic timing with the stuff that's happening in this. Again, like they play.
Yeah, he's funny, dude.
They play his character in this as someone who's just, he wants to have a good time, but he's not the guy who's going to go sleeping around on his wife. And then the movie plays with all these different, scenarios that are pretty interesting. It's just, I just thinking about it now makes me chuckle. But yeah, I would say it's worth a watch, even going back to that time in 1984 early.
It's got Michael Dudikoff in it. What?
It does. It sure does.
Holy shit.
In a scene made famous by Clerks 2, where they actually bring a fucking jackass to a party and a woman strip teases for it.
Oh, no.
The magical sexual mule!
Jeez, a donkey that doesn't want to be recognized? Something interesting is gonna happen here.
Oh no!
So if
and they brought Dudikoff in for this? They're like, just in case the donkey gets out of control, you can kick its ass.
Well, the best part is the donkey eats a whole bunch of drugs and ODs, so that the donkey dies.
Just ruined the whole movie for Eric. Thanks.
This man's
Josh.
wife worked for PETA. I want everyone to know.
Sure did.
You're sick, Josh. You're sick.
This is why I shudder to even mention this movie, but it's the movie I think of.
Sure,
when I think
it's
of
in poor
parties.
taste, but often parties are in poor taste, right?
Yeah.
It's not our fault. That's how
but
parties roll, baby.
There's so much good stuff that happens in it that's hilarious. I mean, his soon-to-be father-in-law walks in on the party, and there's just like S&M shit going on. It is one of those movies that you watch today and you're like, oh shit, I can't believe they got away with that. But some of this stuff is so fucking funny, dude.
Wowza.
All right, I've gone on about Bachelor Party long enough. Jason, what's your number 2?
You have.
Number 2.
Running along.
Not a horror movie. So there you go, Josh. I'm actually done with those for the top 4.
Done.
No more horror. Okay.
No more horror at all?
Maybe in honorable mentions, but not in the top 4.
Okay.
We're going back to 1978. Going back to I was 1 year old because I'm an old fucker. We're going with National Lampoon's Animal House, the infamous toga party.
I wonder if we hear this. Yeah, I'm glad somebody put it on.
Dude, I thought of this before checking the list, dude, because, I mean, my stepdad, he loves Animal House, dude. He quotes it still to this day. So I watched it in my teenage years. I didn't get to watch it as a young child. I watched it in my teenage years. But, dude, Belushi, Donald Sutherland, Kevin Bacon. Dude, there's so many people that went on in that movie that went on to do bigger, better things. But the toga party, Otis Day, and they're playing shout, they're dancing, they're doing this. Sex, drugs, drinking. My favorite part is the guy playing the acoustic guitar on the stairs. I bought my love a chicken, and he grabs that fucking guitar and starts slamming it against the wall.
I would have liked to do that in college a couple times, yeah.
Dude, I will rewind that part over and over to watch him smash that guitar.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
There you go.
And the one guy's trying to he's like seducing the dean's wife.
Yep.
I'll go ahead and finish up, Jason.
I was going to say, like, when you think parties in movies, this is historic. Like, after I wrote these down and I went to go do more research online, this was always in the, like, top 5.
Yeah.
Mentions of the toga party from Animal House. So.
Sure, and think of the influence it had on like so many parties.
Yeah, the whole college
moving forward. I mean, if you're making a movie that has like a college or even high school party at that point, you're gonna look at Animal House. You're gonna be influenced by Animal House. Like, that it should have been on our lists somewhere, and I'm glad. Yeah. Jason.
I mean, I was watching clips from it and I was like, God, you don't get the stuff from some of these 80s parties movies without this movie, you know?
No.
You see so much.
And there's a certain truth to it. I feel like, obviously it's all over the top, but I mean, you know, when people are at parties, they're dumb as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, there's some truth to that. You got a lot of dumb idiots just, you know, doing dumb shit. And yeah. Animal House does it well.
What is it? The morning after when they get kicked out and Belushi grabs the bottle of Jack Daniels and just chugs it. You're like, you kind of wonder because back in those days, the way Belushi was it real Jack Daniels or was it like Coca-Cola or something? But I mean, he downs the whole damn bottle. And still to this day, and I'm like, man, I've done some crazy stuff. I would never do that. Ain't happening. So yeah, that's my number 2. That's my number 2.
All right, Jason. Eric.
Yes.
How about your number 2?
My number 2. My number 2 is from 1975.
Whoa, he beat me.
Going back. It's the party from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. When they sneak in some prostitutes and some alcohol, and everyone gets to break the rules for one night. And I picked this because I love this movie. I picked it because I love the sort of sneaking around, the fact that you're not like, it's like insane to try to have a party in this location, in the situation there.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, not terribly unlike great moments in like prison movies where the prisoners are having a good time. a rare good time, a moment of peace, a moment of like normalcy.
Right.
These people are in the hospital. They're basically prisoners in this hospital, more or less. And they get to cut loose on this night. It's very impactful on the story. You know, the consequences of the party are dire and high stakes. And I don't know, just a really meaningful party in a movie. So that's why I thought of it.
I'm honestly glad you picked this movie because I've been looking for a reason to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a long time. And when I'm going through to pull clips for this now, it's going to make me like, all right, I'm going to sit down and watch this movie again because I remember really enjoying it the first time I saw it. But it's one of those that's like, it's a great movie, but there's just shit about it that makes you not really, it's like, I don't want to be sad,
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. Cool, man. Thanks.
Good one. I like it. Good number 2. Got some good number 2s going. See if Josh keeps it rolling.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Scott.
It was hard. I had to go back and forth for my number 2 and number 1, but my number 2 ends up being the Topeka Party in Almost Famous.
I am a golden god!
I knew
I thought you
was
might.
going to make this list. I was like, Josh has got to put Almost Famous on this at some point.
Yeah, man. I mean, Almost Famous is a movie that is just super close to my heart. It makes me feel at home. Like, it's just
great movie.
It's one of those movies, I grew up loving music, wanting to play music, and that movie just tugs at my heartstrings. It has a certain, special place in my heart. But the party scene is something that Jenny and I reference all the time. I'm a golden god. I'm on drugs. All of that stuff.
I'm on drugs.
But Russell, he's sick of being in the band. He just wants to go experience some real shit at night. And they meet these kids from Topeka, Kansas. They're like just real Topeka people, man. And he goes to the party and they've got fucking acid in the red cups. So he drinks a shit ton of acid. I don't know, man. It's just one of those scenes in a movie that's like, that's a party that I would have loved to have been at. And
hell yeah.
I love how he goes in and he's just like, man, I had that lampshade. And he's just like so stoked that he's just not like on tour with his band. He just is like chilling at a party with people. It's just a cool scene, man, and a cool movie. I would love to talk about that movie one day for the show, man. I think that's a great film. Says a lot about the music industry around that time. So
I actually really like that movie. Watched
Eric
it recently.
likes a music movie. He likes a music movie.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
I do. I know that's one of the few I do enjoy. But that almost made my list, Josh, and I figured it might make yours. Yeah, I love it. I love the vibe of the party. Like everyone's really positive and. Yeah. Like everyone's cool. There's
They're on
no
acid,
like
of
jerks
course.
at the party. Yeah, well, he's having his existential crisis, and they all take care of him, and it's such a great scene. It's one of the most fun parts of that movie, like him just having a great evening at the party. So yeah, I love that. That's a great choice.
You're real, and you're. I do the rooftop. I will go ahead and say that was on my honorable mention list. So that's how close it was to making my top 4. But that the rooftop scene that gets me every time.
Cool,
love it.
Well,
good one, Josh. Everybody had good number 2s.
Thanks, man. Well, before we all get to our
excellent.
number 1s, why don't we go ahead and throw some honorable mentions out there? If there was something out there that just you had to nudge off the list. Because we only do the top 4, what would your 5 or 6 be? Or there's a couple of movies that you would have put on the list had you could have. Jason, how about you?
Are we just rattling off a couple?
Yeah, just a couple. I mean, we're not going to talk a ton about them.
Okay. Party scenes. I just watched this movie. Got my girlfriend to watch it for the first time since she loves zombies. Dude, I'm going from the cemetery party and Return of the Living Dead.
All right.
Got some...
Why is that?
I wonder why. So yeah, we get some little nakedness going on there, and then we get naked zombies running around too. So, but yeah, Return of the Living Dead, Dazed and Confused. the kegger. That's the one I was talking about. It's kind of reminds me. I've had those parties here out in the woods. You know,
for
everybody
sure.
just bring a keg.
That's more our style of party, isn't it? That's more of like a,
Yeah. And then I had almost fan, but I'll just throw another one. Teen Wolf, because we talked about that one.
Good Teen Wolf party.
The jelly, the Jello thing, the making out with Booth in the closet. It's a werewolf movie. I have to mention a werewolf movie, or my werewolf friends will be mad at me. So,
before we get too far, I just want to point out that Jason was titillated by naked zombies. And not terribly unlike how he was titillated by the werewolf transformation scene.
Yeah,
in Trick or Treat.
In Trick or Treat. So this man loves his like horrific, sometimes dead sexiness. Anyway,
all right. That's just a few of mine. Go ahead, Eric.
Eric, why don't you go throw a cup out there?
Well, Josh, your Almost Famous nearly made my list. That was on my honorable mentions.
Hey,
and
we all three had it. There you go.
Yeah. Another honorable mention I had was Bilbo's 111th birthday from Lord of the Rings.
There
Fellowship.
You go. Good one.
Hobbits know how to party. We know that, right? Endless food, endless ale, or whatever it is they drink in wherever they are, I forget, and in the Shire. And you got Gandalf's there with his pipe weed, just puffing away.
Fireworks.
It's a good time. Fireworks. Bilbo's disappearing act. How fun! That's a blast. That's a party. I mean, who wouldn't want to be at that party?
Yeah. Now, what party is that? Is that the first party or second?
It's the first party.
Or because they have first breakfast and second breakfast.
Oh yes, yeah.
Is this first or third party? Of the evening.
Yeah, I'm sure there's multiple rounds. Yeah.
There you go. Good one, Eric. I like that one.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Anything else?
That's it for honorable mentions.
All right.
What you got, Josh?
I'll just throw a couple out there real quick. I got the karaoke party from Cable Guy.
Dude, yes, and I got it, Avita, dude. That's great.
that whole scene. I mean, dude, Jim Carrey. I rewatched the scene and I was like, it was one that just came off my list. And I'm not, Jim Carrey movies are a love and hate thing for me at this point, but I do really like the Cable Guy, and that karaoke scene's pretty awesome. I also have Revenge of the Nerds, the Lambda 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 Party. Yep. That's another 80s movie that just kind of defined parties for me, even though it's kind of debaucherous and some pretty heinous shit goes on at the party, but it's definitely a party that I think of when I think of parties in movies. And I'll throw the multiple parties in Boogie Nights out there as well.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the pool party crossed my mind. Boogie Nights pool party.
Yeah. Again, Josh, go with all the stuff with I got porn in mine. Josh has got porn in his. Eric's going
Climax.
With the children's movies over here.
Listen, Climax is not for kids, okay?
Yeah. Well, just the one.
Climax is right there with you guys on that business.
All right.
Well, Jason, it's all come down to this moment. We're looking for your number one party. And
also, Billy Madison had Vicky Valancourt, so. I mean,
You mean Sonya from Mortal Kombat?
Shh. No, Vicky Valancourt I'm talking about. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. Number one.
Number
uno.
Going back to 1985, because that's when we made good party movies in the 80s, but this is not an adult party movie. This is some high school kids having a party. They like to wear bras on their heads and create women. Weird Science, the party at the end.
I knew that was going to be your number one. I knew it.
Dude, I mean, how can it not be when you're thinking number ones and like you said, these mean what they mean to us, dude. As a kid, I could not wait till it got to that part of the movie. Other than, when they make her, and then you get to see her walk out. That's awesome as a kid to get to see, Kelly LeBrock. Yeah, couldn't remember her name. But, yeah, the party and when she opens the door and there's like the whole town's there and they like, what's his name? I forgot the young guy, the smaller guy. He passes out and they all come running in. There's a table full of food and then it's gone within 2 seconds. the rage are going on. Then they piss off her Lisa, and then everything goes crazy because they're trying to make another girl to impress these other guys. We got missiles coming out of the floor. We got rooms turning blue. Got people getting sucked out of the house. Girl having her clothes ripped off while she's trying to play piano and gets sucked in and thrown out the chimney naked. And then again, see, that's what I'm saying. 80s movies did it right. And then you get the mutant bikers. My favorite part when they showed up. Dude, when they it's like Mad Max on motorcycles show. And matter of fact, it's what's his name? Vernon Wells. He was in Mad Max 2, and he's the Lord General, the main guy.
Yep.
And you also get I can never remember Michael Berryman from Hills Have Eyes, the guy with the bald, pointy head. You know, he's there too.
Yep.
And it's all scary. And then Wyatt and them kind of grow a set of balls, take up for their friends, run them out of the house. And I even like it at the end of Michael Berryman's character. He's just all like, oh, scared. And he wants to, hey, I'm sorry about this. You know, you're not going to tell anybody, you know. And I was like, dude, that's a party movie right there as a kid, man. I love it. That's
great
mine.
number one, man. I need to rewatch Weird Science too. It's been a long time since I've watched it.
It's probably been a while, probably 10 years or more since I've watched it. But I think I kind of wore out renting it, and then it always played on TBS.
Yeah.
Another Turner Network repeat movie.
Yep.
So, what you got, Eric?
Eric, I'm anxious to hear your number one. I wasn't anxious to hear any of your others, but I am anxious to hear your number one.
Well, okay. My number one. Can you imagine the party that would ensue if we defeated evil in this world? If we killed the devil himself, can you imagine the party that would happen? Well, 1983, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Ewok party.
Oh, God.
Evil was destroyed. Okay? They took down the Empire, the Emperor. Okay? You've got Ewoks. You've got tree forts. You've got a Wookiee. You've got rebels. You've even got dead people. Come back to party.
This sounds like
this goddamn thing.
This sounds like one of Stefan's parties, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got Ewoks, we've got droids, we have humanoid robots.
Hey, Josh, don't ever do that again, dude. You totally sounded like Donald Trump when you did that. Don't ever make that voice again. Don't do that. Please don't.
We've got Ewoks, which are just midgets with hair. You should probably cut that out. That's what Stefan would say, not what I would say.
Human Ewoks.
It's when you tar and feather a little person. Anyway.
We lost Josh. He's gone. He's out.
I don't know why my brain doesn't go to like parties full of like keg stands and hot chicks. It goes to Ewoks. It goes to bounce houses. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm a child, I guess. I don't know, but I couldn't put anything above it. It's just like it feels so good. It's over, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, damn, you know?
It's definitely
That's my number one.
It's definitely not a party I thought of.
Yeah, didn't even think of that.
I can't believe it. I thought you might. I mean, you're the Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
In this group, you guys, I'm the least Star Wars guy.
Probably, yeah.
I think I've
Which is why I like Return of the Jedi. Or right? Is that how it works? I don't know.
I think I've just put such a an embargo on not talking about Star Wars for the show because so many people
trade
talk
embargo.
Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? But like
a blockade.
I've been so opposed to talking Star Wars because everybody talks about Star Wars so much online and whatnot that I don't even think about mentioning Star Wars stuff in our episodes half the time, just because I love Star Wars. I love enjoying it, but I definitely don't love arguing with people or seeing what people's opinions are of Star Wars most of the time.
Everybody argues over Star Wars. I mean, it could be the best Star Wars movie ever made by the general public. There's still going to be people who like it's horrible.
Yep.
And they will argue till they die. So there's just, I get what you're saying. Yeah, we don't talk about Star Wars, but good one there, Eric. I mean, that was two. Lord of the Rings, we got that in here, and we got Star Wars.
And
I ended up with big properties, you know.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Eric's got big properties.
And me knowing that Eric's not a huge Star Wars fan, just I'll take that as a win. We got it.
I love the original Star Wars films. I do.
I mean, Empire. You could just. Empire is just fantastic. If you don't think Empire is a fantastic movie, you just are a movie snob above our class of movie snobs.
Right.
Empire is the best.
All right. Well, I guess that just leaves me with number one, huh?
Yeah. What we got, Josh? Number one.
Well, the movie that I instantly think about when it talks when you say party, I think Dazed and Confused.
Bam!
There it is.
There you go. My honorable mention, his number one. We do share a brain.
It's not just one of my favorite party movies of all time. Like Dazed and Confused is one of my favorite movies ever. Like,
dude, always.
It's just I can. It's like comfort food, man. I can watch it at any time. It's just like hanging out with. It's like hanging out in high school, man. It just feels good to watch that movie. It has its problems, like all older movies do, with some of the stuff that they choose to show in that movie or do in that movie. But it doesn't, it still makes me think about when I was a kid, and and it really shows like how we've, as a society, moved past certain things, because that's what the entire summer hinged on for these kids in that movie, was being able to hang out and party and not have to be at school and not have to be at home. They wanted to be independent. They wanted to do what they wanted to do. And, I think we've definitely gotten away from that the older I get.
Well, no, kids, high schoolers are still doing that.
Well, yeah, I guess I have no room to talk since I don't have any kind of high school kids in my life. So Eric probably knows a lot more about it than I do.
He's the only one that really knows. I mean, I deal with that with my girlfriend's kid, and she's just graduated, but they still don't party like they in that movie.
Right. In those days, you could disappear for, a whole day and your parents wouldn't even know where you were. It's a little different now.
Yeah.
But things have definitely changed. But you're right. Different times, and it's even though it's set before my time, I can still relate to it to an extent. All of us were kind of just as like pagers and cell phones were starting to come in, not really like full on. Most people didn't even have cell phones, or they had one, but it only had a few minutes on it, and you had to that kind of thing.
It was for emergencies only.
Right. It wasn't, there was no GPS on it.
Man, I didn't have a cell phone until I was in like my 20s, upper 20s. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't invented yet.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We had
not
smoke clouds.
It's not your fault.
So.
Yeah.
Dude, but I mean, you're just talking about that being your number one movie. Dude, how many memorable lines are from that movie? The all right.
Yeah, sure.
Freaking
built a career on that one.
Yeah, I like the cool thing about dating high school chicks. I get older, they stay the same age. Dude, Matthew McConaughey, dude, he was the man in that movie.
It made him a star. That's for sure.
My fellow Texan.
Ben Affleck as well. I mean, it's weird.
Yo, Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Ben Affleck's haircut is strange in that movie, but I guess that was the style in the 70s. Yeah, I love the whole aspect of it. It makes me feel like a kid again when I watch that movie. But it's that time when you were in high school, but you were right there on the cusp of becoming an adult. So you wanted to drink, you wanted to have fun, you wanted to drive around and not have to be under the supervision of anybody. And I can still, I still get a warm, fuzzy feeling about thinking about that time in my life, about whenever I wanted to go do stuff on my own. And I think that movie just encapsulates a lot of the human want to socialize and like have fun,
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you're kind of breaking the rules, partying's more fun when you're not supposed to be doing it.
Yeah.
Because they're all
it's like
underage
laughing
drinking.
in church.
Yeah.
It's like laughing in church, you know, it's like, it's even funnier because you're not supposed to laugh, or laughing in class when you're supposed to be being quiet. Like,
Right.
there's something about the mischievousness that you can get vicariously through watching these parties and these movies.
Dude, yeah. I mean, we
it's a
used
lot
to
of
do
fun.
that to try to score some alcohol for the weekend. You know, we're in high school and you try to find somebody that's of age, and we lived in a dry county, so you had to get somebody to drive like 20 miles away to go get it. You know, you're doing whatever you could to get some beers for the weekend, or it's summertime, you graduated. Yeah, you want to go have a party, but you can't go buy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we always find ways to break the rules, and this is what this movie does. Breaking rules and having a good time. Nobody gets hurt other than a fight, but that happens at every party at a kegger. Somebody's going to get in a fight.
Yeah, but and I like that it's, you know, it also encompasses the fact that it's not just focused on the popular kids having a party. It's groups of every walk of life come into this party, and
exactly.
You know, I love that it starts as a house party, and then the parents decide they're not going to leave, and then they have to try and find a place to do it, and it's a fun ride, you know, all the way around. And, you know, it's got, you know, the guy who plays, I can't remember what his name is in the movie, but the stoner guy, he was in Empire Records and whatnot, but his whole thing about the dollar bill, and he's just this crazy stoner fucking guy. Like, all the stuff he has to do in Dazed and Confused is hilarious. And I knew people like that when I was younger. You know?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think the next movie that probably comes close to anything that I really experienced in high school is like Superbad, and how you were just talking about like getting somebody to buy alcohol for you. Like that whole scene in Superbad where they're trying to get McLovin to go buy with his fake ID is just, you know, we all did that. And so I'm surprised Superbad didn't make anybody's list, honestly. Like, I
thought it might. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it might.
Because, I mean, that's, even though it's a little, you know, I'm a little older than that movie's crowd, I guess, but
yeah.
I can still relate to a lot of what happens in Superbad, for sure. But those are our top 4 parties and movies. We got any other movies, party movies, scenes in movies that are parties that we want to talk about before we close this bad boy up?
Go ahead, Jason.
I was going to go the party from Night of the Demons, the original, the Halloween party. See a common thread here of somebody in these movies.
Yeah.
Also, Freddy versus Jason, the corn party, where Jason shows up, and then Jason one more time, the party in Friday the 13th Part 4, the Crispin Glover dance scene.
I thought I was going to see that one, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
That one just barely qualifies as a party.
Yeah, it is right there. It's close.
You got any more, Jay, or that's it?
No, that's it. That's all I had. I'm good.
All right. I thought of the Gremlins partying at the bar when they took over the bar.
Yes!
Kind of a party.
Great one.
A bunch of gremlins going crazy. You got a flasher. I thought
you could even done the Gremlins party in Part 2, where they do the whole thing, the New York thing in the lobby trying to get out. That was a great one too. Go ahead, Eric. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. The Madagascar lemurs. I like to move it. That's a freaking party, right?
Eric has children, people. That's where
those lemurs like to party. And then Matrix 3 Naked Rave.
Oh,
that was Matrix 3, right? Naked Rave?
It was Matrix 2, I think.
Oh, 2. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Naked Rave.
The party at Zion, man.
Dude.
Man.
Yeah. Hey,
we're all sweaty.
Blade. The Blood Rave.
Yeah.
Dude.
Blood Rave. That's a good one. Yeah.
That is a good one.
Is that a club scene or a party scene?
When you look it up online for the top parties, it was always like, there was a couple of them that was number 1.
Huh. Oh.
So
I'd like to see what those lists are comprised of.
Well, I looked up horror and regular, and Blade still come up to number 1 on a couple of them. So I was like, wow, okay. What you got, Josh? Some extras?
I will go ahead and throw out James Franco's party at This Is the End.
Oh, good one.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Yes.
I also had Animal House just to throw out there in case anybody didn't,
too.
but obviously we did. And I'm going to say Frankenfurter's party in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
There you go.
I thought that might come up too. That's a good one. Yeah.
And I don't see, this is the one that I don't know if it classifies as a party or it's a rave. So I guess that's a party. I don't know. But the party that they're trying to get to in Go, the rave in Go, I wasn't sure if it was a party or not. So I didn't really want to put it on a list or anything. But I really like Go. I think Go is an underrated 90s sort of like party movie.
I don't think I've seen Go.
Oh, it's a fun ride, man. It's definitely influenced by Pulp Fiction a bit.
Okay.
But it's
a post Pulp Fiction film.
Yeah. It's a fun ride though. Like it holds, it's a good movie for that. It encompasses that time period pretty well.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you have films, BPF and APF, before Pulp Fiction, after Pulp Fiction. That's how movies are made.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, about to say, because Josh loves Tarantino, so that would actually go for him.
All right.
We did it.
Else? We did it.
Parties.
We did it, guys.
Yeah,
I want to hear some other party ideas in the comments. That's what I would really love, if we could get some comments about parties and movies.
Yeah, we want you to tell us what your favorite parties are. Let us know down there in those comments below.
Because you'd be a lot cooler if you did.
And it would just make our day. Every comment we get makes our day.
Yes.
Unless it's mean.
Changes
our lives. That could ruin our day.
I don't care. If you want to make mean comments about Eric, me and Josh would love to read them. So make mean
as long as they're constructive, I don't mind.
Or talk about us. We don't care. We love people.
Well, that is our top 4 parties in movies. You guys want to figure out what our next top 4 is going to be?
Sure.
The Wheel of Death.
Let's get the wheel. All right. We're going to spin this wheel, and whatever it lands on will be the next top 4 we do. Is everybody ready?
All right. Yes.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
Where she
Look at it go. Look at it go.
Dude, I'm going to puke here in a minute. Look at that whip.
Our next top 4 will be top 4 blue movies.
Blue.
Oh, shit, a color.
We haven't done a color in quite some time, so our next top 4 will be our top 4 blue movies. So come back and check out what our top 4 blue movies are whenever that episode comes out.
Blue's Clues movies.
Blue's Clues, the feature film.
Yes, Blue's Clues, the feature film. Yeah.
What other colors have we done so far? We've done red and green. I think that's all the colors we've done so far.
I think red and green is it, yeah.
All right, well,
Red, green, and blue.
Tune in to the channel so you can make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you know when we're putting out new videos, and you'll see when that top 4 hits our feed, and you can check out our top 4 blue movies. And until we see you then, we want you to be kind,
Rewind!